So, so how do you begin to write? It's kind of a question that I've tried to approach a couple different ways. Um, just, just write. That's it. Video. How many times can I use that gag before it gets really annoying? Probably one time. And so I'm sorry. I know that's easier to say than it is to do. So I want to give some tips and some truths that might assist you when putting pen to paper or fingers to keys for the first time. Why am I qualified to talk about this? Because I've been there. I was there for, are you ready for this? 9 damn years. I started writing with a passion in high school. I even submitted my novella, which was about 20,000 words, to competitions. I was recruited into a high school program on the other side of a massive city I grew up in just for creative writing, and I won an unpaid internship with a newspaper. Then I promptly stopped. I was too paralyzed with the fear of writing that I didn't write for 9 years. Now, I don't mean I didn't write anything. Of course I did. I went into academic writing and pumped out essays and a published article here and there, but that's just not the same. Creative writing is where I wanted to be, but I wanted it so badly, I couldn't. This is how I learned to just write. This I think is the most important thing for anyone who is contemplating writing to just internalize and understand. Your first draft is gonna be shit. It's not you. It's literally everyone's first draft is shit. If they tell you it's not, it's probably because it's like third or fourth draft that they're showing you. It's just everyone's will be awful. It's kind of the process. You are in your first draft trying to put everything down. The ideas are coming and you're writing them. You may have plotted it all out. You may have all these things everywhere that you know exactly what you want to write, but it's different having the ideas and then writing the prose. When you do it for the first time for any story, whether it's your first book, your second book, or your 50th book, it's still gonna be shit because you may have learned more in that process, but there's still gonna be things you get wrong. There's gonna be story things you get wrong. There's gonna be character development that isn't there. There's just gonna be issues. That's why no one publishes their first draft. No one publishes their first draft. If they do, it's probably some artsy thing. So take a breath, step back, get the first draft done. Don't hold yourself to impossible standards on that draft. Just write it. Just write it out. Let it be bad. Be okay with it being bad, and then go back and fix it. Because that's a lot of what writing is. Going back and fixing the raw ideas that we had for so long and put them down on paper or on a word processor. It's refinement. We should talk more about writing as refinement and less as an act of dumping words on a page, because the refinement is often where the story comes together. And on moving directly into the next part of that, nothing is permanent until it's released. So you've got the first draft. Good. Now you're working on your second. This one can be bad too. It should be better than your first, but it can still be bad. And then third draft and fourth. It doesn't matter how many drafts you go through. I think Rise was about 10 to 11 drafts before I finally released it. And I didn't even do that necessarily because I gave it to my editor first, and then she went through it, and that was another draft, so to speak. So it was a multi-step process. The only time it became permanent and something I could no longer change was when I finally hit publish. That's when you have to just let go. But until that time, It's yours. You own it. You have control over it. You can change everything about it. You can change character names. You can add characters, remove characters. You can remove plot points. It's yours still. It's not permanent. It still exists in this state of creation. So keep that in mind, that once you put everything down, that's not over. You don't have to deal with what you wrote a year ago or a month ago or yesterday. You can still change it until it's released. And sometimes if you're like me and you're a little bit of a control freak, you might change some things after release, but that kind of hurts this point. But that's also being self-published, which that's a whole other thing. Speaking of release, you don't have to publish what you write. You don't even have to show anyone what you write. But you probably should. You'll probably be surprised with how much other people enjoy your writing. You'll probably be surprised seeing that the things you created can impact people's lives in ways you never expected. That is one of the greatest things about writing for others. So give yourself a little bit of a break. If you don't want to release it, you don't have to. You can make that decision on your own. But keep in mind that there are people out there. You have an audience. An audience is waiting for you. You may have difficulty discovering them. I know how difficult it is to discover audiences. But when you find that first person or second person or third person that really enjoyed and their lives were enriched for that moment when they read your book, your poem, your short story, whatever it is, that feeling of contributing to this grand tapestry of creation, entertainment, and everything, it is something that you can't put your finger on. I can tell you from personal experience that it is an incredibly emotional feeling to have someone tell you that they like this character, or they like this plot point, or they liked this, or just hearing that they read the whole thing. It means so much. So yes, this point is supposed to be telling you that you don't have to release. But I'm also trying to say, when you feel ready to, give it to someone to read. Share it with them. And let them enter your world for that brief moment. Or long moment if you have a really long ass book. And finally, perhaps one of the biggest reasons to just write, the more you write, the better you'll get. It's like anything. The more you do something, the better you're going to get. Now, you obviously do have to be cautious about developing bad habits. I definitely have them. I am ironing them out as I write. But I'm a better writer today than I was yesterday. I'm a better writer yesterday than I was 6 months ago. I'm a better writer then than I was when I tried to publish my first book. I feel like the process of writing, the process of revision, the process of reading other people's works, proofreading other people's works, doing everything that is combined with writing has made me a better writer. Doing it is a form of teaching that nothing can replace. You may say that, well, I need to watch this video or go to this class before you write. But there's no reason why you can't start writing, go to the class, watch the video, and then improve from what you were just doing. Find the things that you have struggles with. For me, I found that I had issues with purple prose. I found that I had some issues with tenses and with shifting point of view. Those are things I learned not by watching other people's videos or watching or going to a class. I did all that stuff, but I learned that by seeing it as an issue in my own writing, by reading back what I wrote and saying, this doesn't feel right. Why doesn't this feel right? Because as a writer, you're gonna have read a lot. You're gonna know intuitively, this sounds good. This doesn't sound good. The harder part is figuring out why. And as you write, you will start to see why your writing isn't fitting what you want. So I implore you, just start writing, because you have nothing to lose. And I hope that this inspires even just one person to sit down and write a page. And if it did, please leave a note in the comments and just tell me you wrote something. And I'll be so happy and excited that you did. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.